billions of dollars at stake and a commitment to openness and transparency in the federal government, the Obama administration has made a strong commitment to contract reform. I'm John Kamensky, Senior Fellow of the IBM Center for the Business of Government. And today with us we have Al Berman, who is the Adjunct Professor of Public Administration at George Mason University. Hi, Al.
Hey, how are you, John?
Doing fine. Al just recently completed a report for us. It's called Six Practical Steps to Improving Contracting. And Al's here today to talk a little bit about how the report was developed and some of the key recommendations in this report.
John, it was Marty Wagner from IBM and I from George Mason who had the idea about a year ago to put together a kind of a primer on acquisition contracting issues for the new administration. And we assembled a group of thought leaders. We had something like 60 or so people from the private sector, from academia, from federal agencies come together to talk about ways in which that whole process of acquiring goods and services could be improved across the government.
You mentioned contracting and acquisition and procurement. What's the difference between those terms?
It does make a difference because generally when people think about contracting, they think about a narrower set of activities that involve actually putting together a solicitation request on the part of an agency and then having someone respond to that with a group of people who are in effect called contracting officers for the federal government. When you're talking about acquisition, you're really looking at a broader picture because you're involving in that effort people who are defining requirements, people who are reviewing whether or not the government is getting a good product from the private sector firms that are doing the work. So it's not just this narrow community of contracting officers you're dealing with.
Well, what are some of the key challenges they're facing?
Well, one of the things that's occurred is there's been a huge growth over the last 7 or 8 years in terms of spending on contracted support for the federal government. Over $500 billion is being spent. The number of contracting officers stayed about 60,000 over that same time frame. So you've got a huge increase in monies for this purpose and pretty flat workforce. So the question is, do you have enough people? Do they have the right competencies to get the job done?
Well, in this report, 6 Practical Steps to Improve Contract, what are some of the key recommendations that your group has come up with?
Given the fact that so much money is being spent these days on contracting, a major recommendation from the community who've been working on this issue the last year is agencies need to recognize that it is a critical strategic function that the agency is performing, and that people who are engaged in defining that work and planning for the contracting need to be at the very highest levels of the agency. Agency leadership has to see this as something that's absolutely essential and critical to their getting the job done. And so the key recommendation is seeing that people are appropriately placed to do that. And then, of course, it's investing in the right talent, making sure you've got the right people doing the kind of planning that's needed to make sure that you're not just spending time trying to get contracts out, but actually seeing that you're getting good results from it. Those are the key recommendations.
So the emphasis is on people, not so much on process.
The emphasis on people and on workforce, which is essentially where this administration is going right now, and the stimulus and all the efforts in that area as well.
Well, thank you very much, Al. We really appreciate you joining us today. And you can download a copy of this report for free from businessofgovernment.org. Thank you.
Thanks, John.